Okay, Assalamualaikum. So today we gonna present about microeconomics issues. The title is Haze. Okay, so my name is Nur Fatiha binti Nur Azwan, and my friends Nur Fatiha binti Muhammad Shazlan, and Nur Ali Afnani binti Muhammad Ali Saifuddin, sorry, and also Nur Liana Safira binti Abdul Hamid, and the last one is Muya Sarah binti Shaikh Abu Bakar.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Sarah binti Shai Abu Bakar. So this is my turn to talk about introduction. First, forest fire in Indonesia caused the transboundary haze in Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore almost every year. Second, in 2019, fires have been burning in multiple provinces of Sumatra and Kalimantan within Indonesia. These regions possess large areas of peatland, which is highly combustible during the dry season. Peatland in this area are extremely vulnerable to combustion because they are originally wetland and rarely ever burn. Peat, which is made up of layers of dead vegetation and other organic matter, contributes heavily to carbon emission when it burned. Because of its high density and carbon content.
Assalamualaikum and hi. So my name is Noliana Safira binti Abdul Hamid, and this is my turn to tell you guys about summary of Haze. So this is the cause and time of Haze spread. The first time Haze spread is in year 1960. The first time haze is reported due to local factors such as open burning of fuel from the manufacturing and vehicle industries. Next is in year 1983. Haze occurs due to El Nino phenomena and forest fires in Borneo. Poor air quality also caused some flights to be cancelled. Next is when 1997. Poisonous haze is reported when almost the entire country is covered in heavy smoke for nearly 6 months, and even the air pollution index readings in some areas exceed the hazard level. Next is when 2014. To address the issue of opening burning contributing to haze and criticism from neighboring countries, Indonesia ratifies the ASEAN Agreement on Cross-Border Haze Pollution in 2014 and is the last ASEAN country to do so. Next is when 2015. The haze that hit the country is considered to be the worst in history until many schools had to be shut down, in addition to flights and some national events cancelled. The last time is when 2019, as in previous years, the haze returns again this year due to forest fires in Sumatra and Borneo. So now let me tell you guys about the effect of haze on the economy. First is demand. Due to the haze, demand for masks of N95 continues to increase. At the same time, the stock market result in decreases because people are more aware of the importance of wearing a mask as protection from the haze that envelops most of the country. Next is the haze of the middle of an epidemic also led to increased demand for products such as hand sanitizer, disinfectant, and antiseptic. As a result, hand sanitizer, disinfectant, and antiseptic manufacturers are able to increase the production volume of these products. Next is in terms of fisheries sectors. The impact of the short-term loss on fishermen based on the number of days they could not go out for fishing due to limited visual factors. For example, fishermen in the Muar area suffer an estimated loss of 100 ringgit a day when they cannot fishing. Next, the long-term impact. The impact on the marine ecosystem due to lack of sunlight will affect plankton growth, which in turn will affect of the food chain within the ecosystem. However, haze usually occurs within a short period of time. Thus, the overall impact on the primary ecosystem of the sea is small. That's all from me. Thank you.
Economy is the study of how society uses its limited resources. Economy is a social science that deals with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. So, four basic economic concepts. Economics is the study of how living souls make decisions to face the scarcity. This can be individual decision, family decision, business decision, and societal decision. There are three basic economic concepts. First is scarcity. Scarcity refers to resources being finite and limited. Scarcity means we have to decide how and what to produce from these limited resources. Second is choice. People must make the choice due to the scarcity. Society must make the best choice possible after considering the available alternative objects or action, called the economic choice for decision among goods, service, or resources. Third, opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the return of the foregone option less than the return on your chosen option. Okay, for the basic economic problems. The problem of scarcity in the economic result in society having a resolved three fundamental economic problems. There are what to produce and how much to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. What to produce? Economic has decide whether to produce more services such as transport or hospital because there are a lot patients seeking treatment, conjunctivitis, asthma, and skin rashes. How to produce? Okay. Precisely how much land, labor, and capital should be used to produce consumer goods such as medicine and transport such as car. During the Haze disaster, there are many people need the medicine because of the level of health increase. So, for whom to produce? People with higher income are able to purchase more medicines than the lower income group. During the Haze, people with higher income will demand expensive or luxury hospital, whereas people with lower income will demand government hospital. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Chapter 2, Demand and Supply. Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shazwani Fatiha. So, this is my turn to take this presentation. So, I start with demand. What is demand? Demand is defined as the ability and the willingness of a consumer to buy a goods and services at a certain price level in a given period of time. Okay, the law of demand. The law of demand shows an inverse relationship between the price of good itself and the quantity demanded. It states that when the price of good itself increases, the quantity demanded for the good will decrease, and when the price of the good decreases, the quantity demanded for good will increase. So, next is supply. What is supply? Supply is defined as the producer's ability and willingness to supply different quantities of goods and services at different possible price and time range. The law of supply shows a positive relationship between the price of goods itself and the quantity supplied. It states that when the price of goods itself increases, the quantity supply also will increase, and when the price of goods itself decreases, the quantity supply also will decrease. Okay, from the market demand schedule and demand curve for the use of mass during haze, we can see that when the price of the mass increases from 4 to 6 ringgit, the quantity demanded for mass will increase from 100 units to 80 units. Besides, when the price of mass decreases from 4 to 2 ringgit, the quantity demanded for mass will increase from 100 unit to 120 unit. The law of demand state when the price of goods itself increase, the quantity demanded will decrease. Sorry. And when the price of the goods itself decreases, the quantity demanded will increase. The law of demand shows an inverse relationship between the quantity demand and the price of the good itself. Therefore, the demand curve will be generally downward sloping, indicating the negative relationship between the price and also quantity demanded. From the market demand schedule and demand curve for the use of hand sanitizer, we can see that when the price of hand sanitizer increases from 6 to 8 ringgit, the quantity demanded will decrease from 120 units to 80 units. Besides, when the price of hand sanitizer decreases from 6 to 4, the quantity demanded will increase from 120 units to 160 units.
From the market supply schedule for the use of mass during haze, we can see that when the price of the mass increases from Rm2 ringgit to Rm4 ringgit, the quantity supplied for the mass also increase from 20 units to 40 units. Similarly, when the price of mass decreases from Rm12 ringgit to Rm10 ringgit, the quantity supplied for mass also decreases from 120 unit to 100 unit. The law of supply states that when the price of goods itself increases, the quantity supplied also will increase, and when the price of the goods itself decreases, the quantity supplied will decrease. The law of supply shows a positive relationship between the quantity supplied and also the price of the good itself. Therefore, the supply curve will be generally upward sloping, indicating the positive relationship between the price of good and also the quantity supplied. From the market supply schedule for the use of hand sanitizer during haze, we can see that when the price of hand sanitizer increases from Rm2 ringgit to Rm4 ringgit, the quantity supplied for hand sanitizer also increased from 40 units to 80 units.
Similarly, when the price of hand sanitizer decreases from Rm10 ringgit to Rm8 ringgit, the quantity supplied for hand sanitizer also decreases from 200 units to 160 units. The law of supply states when the price of goods itself increase, the quantity supplied will also increase, and when the price of the goods itself decreases, the quantity supplied will decrease. The law of supply shows a positive relationship between the quantity supplied and the price of the goods itself. Therefore, the supply curve will generally upward sloping, indicating the positive relationship between the price of goods and the quantity supplied.
I am Nur Ali Afnani binti Muhammad Al-Shafuddin from class BA 112A. I'm here to present the determinants of haze pollution. So basically, before this, the infamous haze occasionally shroud parts of Malaysia, causes serious health risks to those living beneath its mist. Despite that, the environment is determinant compromise in the push for economic progress. The first determinant is of demand. The demand for a product or good is affected by many factors. It is crucial to comprehend these factors for better understanding of the demand pattern of a specific good or services. So the first factor for determinants of demand is price of the good itself, movement along a demand. Based on the law of demand, an increases or decreases of price of the good itself will affect a change in quantity demand. When the prices of the good rises, presume other factors influencing demand are ceteris paribus. The quantity demanded for the particular good will fall. The opposite one is the price of the good fall, the quantity demand will increase. Because of the haze crisis, the price of healthcare increases and the quantity demand fall. And it affects the financial as well. The price of the good decreases, then the quantity demand increases. The second factor is consumers' preference. In control by the types of advertising or information that the consumer gets, the fashion trends, seasons, and so on. And then, changes in taste will affect a change in demand. Also, favorable change guides to an increase in demand and will shift the demand curve to the right. For the haze incident, consumers change their attitude or actions preference to become more aware. This consumer will demand of their actions. The consumer demand more face masks because of the worst condition of the air. And the last one is the gas oil also will get demand by the people because the uses of transportation will increase. And the third factor is consumer income. With higher individual income, the demand for normal or superior goods and services will rise. And the demand curve of normal goods will shift rightward, and vice versa when the income increase. Similar to a normal good, but a superior good is relatively expensive and scarce, like goods or luxury cars, like Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, or the usually that you always see at the road, which is Honda. The higher the income, the lower the demand for inferior goods. In haze season, people still could go to work as usual, so their income remained same. Therefore, there were no changes for demand of normal or superior goods and services. But when the haze stopped and back to normal, the income will increase because of bonus. Maybe some of employees will get bonus in the middle of the year or in the last of the year. Hence, the demand for inferior goods will decrease. And the last factors, which is the fourth one, is number of potential consumers or market size. An increase in demand influenced by a higher amount of numbers of bigger pollution in the market, causing the demand curve shift to the right. If the size of the market is small, then the demand curve shifts to the opposite one, which is left. The different age groups in the market affect demand differently. Okay, for the younger community, we demand more technology like iPad, PS4, PSP, Xbox and Marvel, and entertainment like K-pop, music, and so on. Fast food, magazines, shoes, and more others. And the older flocks will demand more help services, helpful, mobility, comfort, and more. Health services, right? They will go to the hospital to get their, medication thing. Regarding to the haze pollution, most people demand more health things because of awareness, such as medication services, face masks, as well as the new technology like air purifier. So, the second determinant is of supply. The supply of a product or good is affected by many factors. It is vital to recognize this factor for so much better understanding, especially for suppliers to be able to learn their market better. The first factor is same as the first factor of determinants of demand, which is price of the good itself, movement along a supply curve. The price changes will make the quantity supply change, and this will affect a movement along the same supply curve. Example, like when the price will increase, and it will change the movement along the supply curve. Based on the law of supply, changes in the price of the good itself will affect a change in the quantity supply. The price of good rises, presume other factors influencing supply are ceteris paribus, same like the determinants of demand. The quantity supply for that particular good will increase, but the effect will be different changes. Otherwise, the price of good falls, then the quantity supply will rises. If the price of good increases, the quantity supply increases too, and vice versa. In the haze pollution, Malaysia suffered estimated at 1.47 billion in healthcare in 2013. And the quantity supply of health tools and the medication get higher because of the what Malaysia suffered for. So the second factor is cost and availability of the factors of production. And increased wages will make the cost of production rises. The profit of suppliers will fall, and it will reducing the supply of goods and shifting the entire supply curve leftwards. So in 2013, we loss of income opportunities because of the haze incident, because there are so much loss that we have to suffer, so the income opportunities will fall. So the third factor is level of technology. Higher levels of technology allow a smaller quantity of resources to be used for production, which in turn reduce the cost of production. This cost increases of the supply of a product by shifting the entire supply curve rightwards. For example, new technologies such as air conditioner, air purifier, water filter, and so on are developed to provide convenience towards people. Therefore, the quantity of resources of production will become lesser than before. The fourth factors of determinants of supply, which is number of suppliers. More suppliers can gain more outputs that can be produced in the market. Supply curve will shift to the right when the supply increases. For example, people request more new technology that effective and quite affordable like Huawei and other company like Kuko and so on. Their products will be produced more such as air purifiers, so the number of suppliers will increase.
Chapter 3 is elasticity. Okay, price elasticity of demand. It measures the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a particular good with respect to the changes in the price. So, I take from example figures 1.1. When the price of mass decrease from 4 to 2 ringgit, quantity demanded will increase from 100 units to 120 units. So in this case, it is elastic because the demand shows is not very responsive to the price changes. Okay, as you can see, when the price of hand sanitizer decreased from 6 to 4, quantity demanded will increase from 120 to 20 units to 160 units. Okay, in this case, it is unitary elasticity because it's equal to 1. It shows demand is one-to-one responsive to the price changes. So the next is price elasticity of supply. Measures the degrees of responsiveness of the quantities supplied for a particular good with respect to a change in the price. So, for example, I take from figures 2.1. Okay, when the price of mass decreased from 12 ringgit to 10 ringgit, quantity supplied will decrease from 120 units to 100 units. Okay, so in this case, it is elastic supply because it's over the 1. I get 1.2. It shows supply is very responsive to the price changes. You can see at the graph, it shows elastic supply. And the last one is I take example from figures 2.2. When the price of hand sanitizer decreased from 10 ringgit to 8 ringgit, quantity supply will decrease from 200 units to 160 units. Okay, in this case, it is unitary elasticity because it's equal to 1. It shows supply is one-to-one responsive to the price changes. Okay, so next, factor influencing price elasticity of demand. First is availability of substitute. A good with more close substitutes will have higher elasticity. Consumer can respond to a rise in price by switching to a substitute which has not experienced any increment in price. Demand is usually inelastic when fewer or non-substitutes are available. The next is proportion of income spent on a product. If only a small proportion of income is spent on a good, the demand will be inelastic. For example, mask and shampoo, the consumer may still need to buy a mask, although the price has increased because of a haze to protect itself. On the other hand, goods which consumers spend a large proportion of his or her income, for example, car, will have an elastic demand. Okay, so the next is factor influencing price elasticity of supply. First is time frames. Supply is perfectly inelastic in the momentary period. In the short run, for example, is production of a mass during the haze. Supply will be inelastic because the quantity supplies is limited to the existing firms and the high demand. In the long run, a firm will increase the input of all factors of production, and thus the quantity supply become more elastic. Uh, so second is ease of entry into the market. The easier it is to enter into a market, the greater the number of firms will be available in the market and the more price elastic the market supply will be.
Conclusion for this task. In closing, the main objective by doing all of this is to investigate the economic conditions. During the Haze crisis, we all discussed the introduction of Haze incident, and there are some researches regarding to this assessment. All of us so thankful of the hard working and efforts that we put together in this work, and not forget to the guidance from our beloved lecturers. Also, our family, especially parents, they always have been the backbones for us. This task give a lot of knowledge, and it is necessary because it is about our economic issues and related to the health problem. Refers to the subject that we learn, which is fundamentals of economics, and finally complete this task carefully. Other than that, learn something new, give us experience as the students, and we need to know our economic issues. From the overall, our research is according to the theme, which is nature disaster that affect our economy. This task is not simply despite to the some factors of economic, and we finish it with good cooperation in this group works. Hopefully, the 21st generation take serious about our economic issues because it is related to the life condition. People need to gain knowledge about it because it is so important. Again, thank you to our group members, especially for complete this task. Very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you from us.